You know that feeling when you're staring at a huge project and you just can't get started? Well, it turns out there's a fascinating reason why our brains do that. It's a weird little quirk in our wiring, and if you understand it, you can actually use it to become way more productive. Today, we're diving into something called the Zeigarnik Effect. But first, let me ask you this. Have you ever been trying to fall asleep and your mind just won't shut up about that one email you forgot to send or that project that's half done? Why do those specific things have such a powerful grip on us? It really is like that, isn't it? A mental itch, a little nagging voice in the back of your head that just will not let go of something until you've dealt with it. It's super annoying, but also kind of interesting. Well, that itch, that constant feeling of unfinished business, it actually has a name. And figuring out what it is the first step to making it work for you instead of against you. And here it is, the Zeigarnik Effect. All this means is that our brains are basically hardwired to obsess over things that are unfinished. Once a task is done, poof, it's gone from our memory. But an incomplete one? Oh, that sticks around, front and center, demanding our attention. So here's the breakdown of what's happening in your head. When you start something, your brain opens up what we can call a cognitive loop. It wants to close that loop, right? It creates this mental tension. And if you get interrupted or you stop, that tension just stays there, keeping that task right at the top of your mind until it's finally finished. And get this isn't some newfangled psychological theory. The story of its discovery is actually super cool, and it takes us all the way back to a busy cafe in the 1920s. So, a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik was sitting in this cafe and noticed something incredible about the waiters. They were juggling these huge, complicated orders for big tables, and they were doing it all from memory. No notepads, no mistakes. She was just blown away and had to figure out how they were doing it. And this is where it all clicked. She realized that as long as the bill was unpaid, meaning that task was still open, the waiter could recall every single item perfectly. But the second that bill was paid, the moment the task was officially complete, if you asked them what that table ordered, they had no idea. It was just gone. It's like their brains literally cleared the cache. The loop was closed, that mental tension was released, and the information was just tossed out to make room for the next open order. Pretty efficient, huh? Now, a story about a 1920s cafe might seem a little random, but I guarantee you experience a masterclass in the Zeigarnik Effect every single time you binge watch your favorite show. Think about it. Showrunners are absolute masters of this. They purposely end an episode right in the middle of the action, leaving the story totally incomplete. That creates that mental itch, that tension in your brain. And what's the only way to scratch it? You guessed it, hitting play on the next episode. They've got us hooked. Okay, so we know what this thing is, and we know how it's used on us. But here comes the fun part. How can we flip this around and turn this weird brain quirk into our own personal superpower against procrastination? Seriously, let's think about it. If opening a loop creates a tension that pushes our brain to finish something, how can we use that to our advantage for all the things we keep putting off? So here's the biggest reason we procrastinate. We look at a huge task, say reviewing an entire semester's worth of notes for a final exam, and our brain just kind of short circuits. It's called intrinsic cognitive load. The sheer size of the job is so intimidating that we decide the best course of action is to not start at all. This is the hack. It's so simple. Forget about studying for the whole exam. Just pick one tiny piece of it, set a timer for 5 minutes, and just start. The goal isn't to finish anything. It's just to open the loop. Because the second you start, even for just 5 minutes, the Zeigarnik Effect kicks in. That cognitive loop is now open, and that mental tension is there. So even if you walk away after those 5 minutes are up, your brain is going to keep nudging you, reminding you about that unfinished thing. It's so much easier to come back to something you've already started. You've basically created your own personal cliffhanger. So really, the big takeaway here isn't about finding some magical motivation to finish a huge project. It's about tricking your brain by just having the courage to start for a few minutes. Now that you know your brain has this deep-seated need to close the loop, what's one thing you're going to start today?